Hey, we're back here on Gadgetplex, been talking about field product testers and TechnoRV. And you know, the chat rooms, we're really glad to have folks here. They're asking questions. The biggest question they have is, how do they become a tester? So, Phil, before we get into the content here, answer that question, please.
That's great that people would like to. So thanks for that. It's simple. You can send go onto my website and there's a little icon there that you can click on and sign up directly online, or you can send me an email here at Gadgetplex, and you can probably tell them better than me, Andy, what the email address is.
Okay, yeah, it's Gadgetplex at RVNN.tv. Pretty
That's it.
straightforward, pretty simple to
Pretty easy.
remember. Yeah. Well, you know, as we look at TechnoRV, the types of consumer electronics products that you test and provide to to active RVers, part-time and full-time, it looks like they kind of fall into some pretty general categories. And I guess the question would be, could you identify those categories to kind of give us, kind of a positioning framework for your technical evaluator program? And then also maybe pick one that you'd like to run down here during this segment.
Yeah, sure. So in terms of the categories and the selection, as I think I mentioned earlier, we always look to try and find some gadgets that are going to make a difference, and by that they contribute something worthwhile, because there are a lot of gadgets out there that I've seen, and I'm sure many of us have seen, that really don't do that. If we think about that, the ones that we've zeroed in on really are the first big bucket is security. So these would be kind of gadgets or products like the tasers and the pepper sprays, but there are other gadgets that do help from a security perspective. And from me, there's nothing more important than keeping ourselves safe, our loved ones safe, and our friends and people who we deal with, like our customers, safe.
Yeah. So now this is
So
physical
sorry, go ahead.
security as well as information security, but primarily physical security is this first general big bucket.
Yeah, physical security of yourself, and your loved ones, as but also our property. How can we keep our property safe from accident, from damage, from theft, that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. We had, in fact, that was one of the things we retweeted here this morning. There was an excellent discussion of the effects of fire inside of an RV. And so if you look at the RV Newsnet Twitter stream, you'll see that link, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all what happens there. So I understand why that would be a great concern. What's the second bucket?
So the second bucket is something that is, I think, close to many RVers' hearts, and I know we touched on in earlier episodes, which is the whole connectivity issue. How do we stay connected to the internet? How do we stay connected for our email? And then what about our phones? How do we, keep connected with our loved ones and other family members while we're on the road? Because we're out here, we're enjoying ourselves, and traveling this wonderful country, but we do want to stay connected, and it's not as easy as people might have us believe. Let's put it that way.
Right, right. Well, and I know that we're going to be revisiting that topic, again and again, because it's a continually evolving situation, not only technically but commercially. When you look at the terms of your wireless carrier agreements and so forth. In fact,
Yeah,
just a
you're
quick.
right. I was just going to say, it changes so fast. If I think this is our fifth year on the road, and when we first set off, um, we uh, we struggled so much more. We had an air card from AT&T, which just really didn't have much coverage at all. We couldn't share it because you couldn't share those cards. I mean, now there's Cradle Points and there's MiFi's and all those other things that we take for granted, and that's only just 4 years ago. So it's like you say, it's amazing how quickly things change.
Yeah. Well, we had in one of our technology programs, we also noted the other side of that is that if you have an old plan that is out of contract, before you walk away from it, you might want to look at it as far as data caps, and that's going to be a whole nother show. What
Oh
do
yeah.
you have here for the product that you'd like for people to look at and comment on today?
So the product that we would like to zero in on a little bit for this show is one that we saw actually not at this year's CES show, but the one the year before. So that would be 2010. And for those of you who don't know, the CES show is the Consumer Electronics Show. It's literally huge, 10 halls and tens of thousands of attendees, and we were impressed by it. But I think it was a little bit early for the product. Subsequent to that, they kind of relaunched it, and this is what it looks like. I'm going to hold this up so people hopefully can see it. Get the make sure I don't get any reflections off it. Inside of here is like a little plastic uh, device that hangs on your keychain. And what it does is it's like a Bluetooth. Oh, there's a great picture of it. It's like a Bluetooth headset. So it uses the same Bluetooth technology to connect to a cell phone. But what makes it interesting is this kind of the package, and we can. I'm going to go through the features in a minute as to what it does. But just so you know how it works, essentially is you have your phone, you Bluetooth connect to this device, and then you can have it either on your keychain, or it has a connection so you can wear it around your neck. So that's sort of it to start with. I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Andy.
Well, I've seen several of these sorts of devices at the Consumer Electronics Show because we go down and cover that for the Tech Podcast Network each year. It looks like just another accessory to put there on your on your keychain. Any device of this type, first question I ask is battery life, because those things have to be powered in some way. But I'm still not exactly clear on the purpose and the utility of how this would be used.
Right. Okay, so let me explain it. Actually, give you a little bit of the background. Here on the back of it, it said this was invented by a mom, and it stands for her children. Zachary, Olivia, and Madison were her children, so that's where the Zomm came from. And it won the Innovation Award at the CES for a gadget that was considered a must-have. So let me tell you why I think it won those awards. The first thing is what it does is it has a kind of like a strength meter, if you can think of that. So if you let's say you're running out of the house or the RV, and you grab your keys, and as you get into the car, the Zomm might start beeping and vibrating. What that's doing is telling you that you've left your cell phone behind. And it can tell you that because it's obviously paired to the cell phone via Bluetooth, and as that signal strength gets weak, it can sense that and start. There you can see that, yeah, the little kind of pairing between the phones. So it's acting like a cell phone tether. And I'm surprised my wife Tracy isn't laughing, because I am always leaving my cell phone. I'll get like 20 miles down the freeway, and I'll suddenly go, oh darn it, I've left my cell phone. So that's something that I find useful. But it's kind of simple. I mean, there are other ways that you can do that if you have a Bluetooth headset. That some of those will tell you.
Yeah,
So
but
that's the first thing. Go.
I have to laugh because you have no idea how many times the alarm system has been set off here at RVNN because we've left the cell phone behind. You set the alarm and you're just going to the car and you say, "Daggone," and you run back in without realizing that alarm has a reset cycle. So that's a very real problem.
Right, I've done that myself. You think, I know I've got enough time, and you can hear it beeping, and you think, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So that's the first thing, the cell phone tether. The second thing about it that I like is, let's say you're outside, you do have, enjoying, like RVers do, we'll be sitting outside having our cocktails and things, and the phone rings inside the RV. It applies equally well to a house, but what the Bluetooth will do, the Zomm, is it'll ring, and if you press the button, it'll actually act as like a wireless speakerphone. So you can, you would answer it, you'd hear who it is who's ringing, and you can say, oh, okay, we're just sitting outside, why don't you come on over, bring your chairs and have a drink. So that saves you having to go inside and, where's my phone, blah, 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 and maybe even missing the call. So that will also double up as, even if you're driving or something, somebody calls you while you're driving. If you have the Zomm in a convenient location, maybe around your neck, on a necklace or something, again, you could press it and use it as like a wireless speakerphone. If you didn't for some reason want to bother with one of the Bluetooth headsets.
Okay, so Yeah, I feel like I'm in the middle of this infomercial. It's like it's a
No,
tether. It's a remote
there's
speaker.
two. Okay.
But wait, there's more. tell,
There's more
tell me
coming.
what
Well,
else it
I,
does.
I just want to eke this, kind of stretch this out a little bit. So, and then the third one, which I think is the most important, so I'm saving the best till last, is the security aspect, and that's why I put it in this security bucket. Um, if you are out and about or in the RV and something happens, or in this case, there's a picture of a lady, she's out. Her phone is in her handbag, but maybe she can't get to it in time, and she's worried she thinks this may be following her, or it could be the situation of somebody in an RV or in their house. They fall over, they hurt themselves. They're not able to reach the phone, or they don't know where the phone is, and they need assistance. If you have the Zomm with you, which is the whole idea of it, you press and hold the center button. What it does, first of all, is it sounds off a panic alarm. So that's sort of like a deterrent, because it's reasonably loud. I mean, it's not as loud as like a fire alarm, but it sounds weird, and somebody would wonder what it is. If you carry on holding the button, it will then use your cell phone to dial a predetermined number, an emergency number. So that could be 911, or it could be your partner, or whoever it is that you've programmed into it. And then what happens is it then plays a pre-recorded message in case you've hurt yourself so much you can't talk, or you're unconscious, or fell unconscious. And then it allows you to talk if you are still able to. So you can say, look, I've hurt myself. Can you come over and bring help, or whatever that it is. So that aspect, I think, for me is the first two are kind of nice to have. To me, the third one is what makes it compelling, and I think might be a nice gift or a tool for somebody who is maybe older or has medical conditions or whatever.
Okay, well, there's the product, and Phil has teed up the shop. We'll be back in our next segment to see what the chat room and the field product testers have to say about the Zomm. Stick with us. We're here on Gadgetplex.
Got a question or comment for Gadgetplex's Phil May? Send him an email at gadgetplex@rvnn.tv, or leave a voicemail for Phil at 877-578-RVNN, extension 703. Follow RV Newsnet on Facebook and Twitter, and you can receive text messages to alert you when we're streaming live by texting RVNN to 72727. That way, you can join us live in the chat room, ask questions, and become part of the RV Newsnet family. Remember, any photos or other material submitted to us become the property of RV Newsnet and cannot be returned. Today's show is brought to you by Angie's List, where you'll find thousands of unbiased reports and reviews about service companies in your area. Whether you're looking for a roofer, plumber, house cleaner, dentist, or even a doctor, Angie's List members share their experiences with each other so that you can choose the service company that's right for your job. Companies can't pay to be on Angie's List, and the reviews come from people just like you who have had experience with the companies mentioned. To find out more, go to rvnn.tv and click on the Angie's List ad.